All
Here we
right.
are.
We are episode 20. What?
Episode 20. Oh my gosh. So crazy. So we started in January
Yep.
and here we are in August.
Mhm.
Wow. Episode 20. I like
Season
it.
1.
Season
Yes.
1, episode 20.
Season 1, episode 20. Okay. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good.
I
Good.
like your very festive shirt today.
Yes, this is a shirt I got at a conference. It's just kind of the summer vibe. It's summertime. It's certainly my thermometer tells me that it's summertime. I don't know how hot it's been for you. It's been ridiculously hot here in Portland, Oregon.
Yes, here in Nashville, Tennessee, it has been so hot. We've actually, in July, we had some extreme heat warnings, excessive heat warnings.
Yes.
So it's been very hot. I did notice today, though, I took my dog for a walk this morning and it was cool. It was
Yeah.
a little bit cool. So I was like, okay, I feel like maybe fall is right around the
Fall is
corner. I don't
coming.
know.
So maybe summer is coming to a close. So hopefully at least from a weather standpoint, we can ease out of this heat wave that we've been experiencing. So summer can be on its way out. But for some people, many people, summer is already over. And what I'm talking about all of the kids who are going back to school. They're either, starting to go back to school or have already gone back to school.
Yes.
I think you
Yes.
you can
And
relate to that.
All of the parents who are over the moon, feeling great.
Okay. There is
Listen, I am always real, and I am so I said we're all excited to go back to school. We are all excited. My stepdaughter is excited to go back to school, and I am thrilled for her to go back to school because this summer has been very interesting. So she's with us full time and day in, day out. And this summer she did not have any daycare or extracurriculars, really. All soccer and ballet and everything had stopped. So it was a full summer.
Okay.
And it's nice to be able to record this podcast and know that I will not be interrupted throughout it. So I'm happy about that.
Okay. I remember, this was a long time ago, clearly. When I was in school, summer was it seemed like it lasted forever. I mean, we would get like summer jobs.
Yeah.
Think about it, we would get a job just for the summer. But now it seems like it's so compressed, which I'm okay with.
It's really compressed. And so I grew up in Northeast Ohio, and our summer started early June, and then we went back to school right after Labor Day. Yes. Because I grew up in a very small farm town. It was very common for us to go back to school after Labor Day because we had a huge fair. And so we would need a lot of people doing 4-H and fair activities, and you couldn't miss the fair every year. You had to be there. So it seemed like summer was so long. I mean, the beginning of June all the way to the beginning of September. I mean, that is long. And now in the South, living in Tennessee, it's totally compressed. Our schools get out actually at the very end of May and then go back. Some schools have already went back the first week in August. And that's so crazy to me because I remember growing up, August was still very much the summer. So it's like a short season now. But so we're kind of in this new beginning chapter with the new school year. And I I have a summer birthday. So for me, I like to have like my personal new year. But I feel like this season of just the newness and the fall, and I know so many people have been out and about for vacations over the summer and traveling. And now to be able to be like making work plans for the rest of the year, I'm really liking how this feels.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. And I think so we think about that going back to your days in Ohio, going back to school.
Yeah.
Um what was that feeling around Labor Day?
Yeah.
It was about excitement, right?
Yes,
It
it
was
was excitement for sure.
yeah, and I
Wh-
think oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, what about for you?
Well, it depends, right? I mean, there was always excitement. There's
Yeah.
something new, the new, the prospect of, what the new year is going to bring. I know for many people, you're starting a new year, and that means new people. For some people, at a new school, so you're getting into a new routine, and I think it's natural to have a little bit of apprehension. A
Mhm.
little, it's a little scary to go into these new situations, especially when you're a young child. Um, but for me, it was a little different though, because I went to a school. It was a small private school down in Orange County, and so I it was essentially the same 28 or 30 students from through the entire elementary school, and that's from kindergarten to 8th grade.
Oh
we
my
didn't have we
gosh.
didn't break out junior high. I didn't get there till 3rd grade because I had moved from Los Angeles. So from 3rd grade to 8th grade, it was the same people every year, give or take, one or two people. But it was always, new teachers, a
Mhm.
new curriculum, and so it was always exciting. um Even though you're sad that summer has ended, I think by now, even for kids, 3 months is a long time. You start getting tired of being sitting on the couch watching The Price is Right in the morning and doing all that stuff. And you sort of even, and maybe it's just me, but you sort of yearn for getting back to a structure, getting back to back into the groove, and then also great seeing your friends on a regular basis again.
Mhm.
For me, it was there's excitement of buying new school clothes. Although we had uniforms, so it wasn't so new.
Yeah.
New school supplies, that was always fun, going to the store and getting all new school supplies. So there's this anticipation, that this fresh start. And I think you know, kind of relating that to where we are today, just
Mhm.
in our non-school days, at least for us, is there is excitement when we have new beginnings, when we start things new. Yes, things, it can be a little bit scary that there's that uncertainty, not knowing what this newness is going to bring. But there's also, an acknowledgement that any sort of change is inevitable, and that we want to embrace that, and seeing it more as not so much as change, but as progress.
Mhm.
So there's that kind of that hope, eternal hope, that things are going to be better, and that you've got new opportunities before you.
Yeah, it really is kind of this time of excitement and newness. And I was telling my stepdaughter right before her very first day, I said, this is a fresh start. This is new. This is a
Yeah.
new start. So I love a fresh start. I am like
Yeah.
all about it. The new year, I love the new year. Oh my gosh, I love I love my birthday, having like an official new year for myself, the whole thing. And I remember going back to school, and I always just kind of approached it with this mindset of you can be anyone you want to be this year. Like
Yeah.
you can bring newness in. And it was almost like I would set new goals. I would set new expectations for myself and for what I wanted to do and how I wanted to be. And just, I've always been pretty intentional naturally, wanting to achieve my goals and everything. And it's like, okay, there's this energy. Let's take this energy and let's run with it, because we need as much newness as we can get sometimes, like in terms of that feeling and that energy. I know sometimes a lot of change is really overwhelming for people, but this new fresh energy, it's like every time spring comes around, you're like, oh my God, there's just something in the air.
Yeah, it's this kind of refresh, and this idea that, maybe the last year didn't go as well as you had hoped. Maybe it did, but maybe you didn't get to accomplish some of the things that you wanted to, or that it just didn't work out. Well, having this this ability to kind of hit that reset button, start fresh.
Yeah.
You've got a clean slate, and you can now kind of move forward, and it gives you that it gives you that clean slate so that you can excuse me move forward. I need clear throat is what I need. So we have this fresh start, this new beginning, and I think for many, if we're not going to school and we don't start in the fall, we're working, right? We're working on a day-to-day basis, and unless maybe if you're in academia, but you usually don't have a 3-month break. But for many people, they go through change when they change jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, I changed jobs earlier this year.
Yeah.
And I just kind of reflected, it's been a while, it's been a few months now. And so I kind of reflected of the similarities between kind of starting a new school year versus starting a new job. And it's just, I was kind of laughing because, we were talking about how you go out and you buy new school clothes and you buy a new backpack and things like that. Well, my previous job, all of the clothes had the company logo on it. So it was fun. My wife and I, we actually went out. I got to go new clothes shopping. And so it was, there's that excitement, that newness to it. And then certainly new, maybe not, I didn't get a new, protractor or pencil holder or anything, but I did get, other tools, things that I use for work. New phone, new iPad, all that good stuff. So yes, there's kind of this new excitement and an opportunity to kind of to reset, to learn new things. I think when you're in a job, and just to put into context, the last job I had, I was there for 13 years, and the one prior I was there for 13 years as well. And so I think it's when you realize that you need to kind of restart, where you're at, it gives you kind of it's been just really exciting to be able to learn new things. And I think it's something that if you're in a situation where maybe you feel like you're kind of not so much going through the motions, but not really challenging yourself on a day-to-day basis, to have that new change, that new role can really help just kickstart things.
Yeah. And I know for me, one of the things, because I've been doing my business, I had my 1-year mark in June, a few months ago. Yep.
Congratulations.
So it kind of just snuck up on me, quite honestly. I've just been kind of head down working, and I do feel like a lot of people recently, with the going back to school energy, have just said, oh my gosh, like we've already in July, we had the official halfway point of the year.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my gosh, okay, we're halfway through the year. I know a lot of people kind of had a check-in with themselves of, well, what did I say at the beginning of the year?
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't have a new job. I have my business, and this is the same business it's still very new, still quite a learning curve, but I have no plans to change in my career at this point. So it's like, okay, how can I bring this newness to what I'm doing. And so I sat down and had my brand new planner just cracked open, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, here we go. We're at the beginning. Let's just take this fresh piece of paper, and it's good for us to reflect and to check in on, well, what
Mhm.
did we say at the beginning of the year, or whenever we made our intentions, like whatever goals or plans or things that we had on the board for us. What did we say, and how's that going? But then also approaching that with, okay, this is where we're at right now. Our feelings are probably different. Our physical state might be a little bit different. Our life circumstance, like for you, for your new job and embarking on all of that, like there's changes that happen.
Yeah.
And so we get to I guess just bring that fresh slate, that clean slate over to just reinvigorate ourselves with, like, okay, this we're on the tail end of the year now. We've made it
Oh,
through. Like, okay, let's
yeah.
recommit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just think, you'd mentioned kind of the goals that we made at the beginning of the year. And just, we were talking earlier about how this is our episode number 20. And I think our first episode, we started this back in January, and we were talking about New Year's resolutions. And well, we didn't, that was the first one, but we early on, we talked about New Year's resolutions and about how we set these goals that align with kind of, the direction that we want to go with our core values. And it is a good time, even though it's not January, it's not the beginning of the year. But it's a good time, maybe kind of past that mid-year point, to check in and say, how are we doing?
Mhm.
What should we change? Are we on track for what we set out to do? And so, if oftentimes we kind of put a plan in place and we just write it out and wait till the end to say, how did it turn out? Mm, didn't turn out, but we have next year. So it's a good time now, as maybe if you have kids who are going back to school, they're having that new start. Give yourself that new start and that fresh perspective of how you can, maybe change up how things are going right now.
Yeah. And before I was a stepmom, I I don't think I felt the energy quite as intensely as I do now. I think,
Oh, see, there you
there's a
go.
little bit there because it was after the summer, and
Yeah.
I feel like after the summer is when you start planning for the things that are happening in the fall. I know there's different conferences that are happening, travel plans. Usually there's some nice time for travel before the weather gets too
Yeah.
um mischievous. So you're kind of like, okay, map it out, plan it out. Which actually, I have a question for you, Devin. Are
Uh-oh.
you what they call a Monday starter?
A Monday starter.
Do you know what that means?
Well, I can guess what it means, but just so we're on the same page, why don't you just explain? Just so
Of
I don't
course.
I
Yeah,
don't I
I
don't
think
agree to something where
you probably know exactly what it means, but
probably.
if you want to say, you want to start a new workout plan, and it's a Wednesday right now, and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to start this new workout plan. Are you the type of person that's tomorrow or even today, I'm starting this right now? Or are you the kind of person that's like, okay, Monday, this is happening?
I'm glad you clarified that, because that's not what I was thinking.
Oh, really?
No, I thought what you were going with was, just that excitement that you bring at the beginning of the week. Like,
Oh,
it's
okay.
Monday. Let's, start of the week.
Yeah.
So many great opportunities before us. That's what I thought you were getting at. And in that
Yeah.
regard, I would say, so to some degree, I really enjoy, just wake up Monday morning, assuming, I was able to get that rest in on over the weekend. Sometimes we work through the weekends, and then Mondays are really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do like Monday. So that's not what you asked though. So what you asked is, do we hold off until Monday? And not really, not really. I mean, I probably have been guilty of that in the past to
Yeah.
some degree. When you say something like, well, I'm going to stop, I'm going to stop, I don't know, drinking soda. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I say, well, I'll give myself until Monday. So I have done that in the past. But generally speaking, if there's something I want to get going with, you want to start right away. It's like that line from When Harry Met Sally.
Right.
We've talked about that line, so I'm going to forget it. Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
I'm like, I don't know the exact execution of it, but I think it's something about you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to mess it up as well, so I'm not going to try it. But if you haven't seen it, go see that movie. It's quite old. It's not
I don't think I've seen it. I don't think I've officially seen it all the way through. Yeah.
It's interesting. I wonder, the movie itself, we're going on a total side tangent about a relationship between a man and a woman over a long period of time. I'm wondering if that movie has aged well, given kind of today's climate. I know there are a lot of movies I've seen recently that I loved, 20, 30 years ago. And it's like, I can't believe they made this movie.
Yes.
Anyway, forget about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this idea that when you know what you want the rest of your life to be, you want that to begin right away as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not that. What did you call it?
A Monday starter.
Monday starter. No, not really.
I think I am mostly a Monday starter. When I was thinking about this, actually what came up for me is the amount of preparation. And so the goal that you have in mind, then it's like, okay, let's get the systems in place. Let's figure out if it's like a workout, what's the workout going to be? Where's it going to be? When's it going to be? What will I wear? All these different things. So you're prepping for it. And then, you're using that time until the official start date, so you can kind of like go with full steam ahead. I do not think that's needed at all. Like it's kind of like, okay, how do we do things around here?
You think though that sometimes we use that kind of that preparation, that's just procrastination, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Because so I have been guilty about, I'm just thinking about something, is I was trying to, I'm starting a new writing project. I told you about this one as well. And one of the things that I just kept putting it off, and I kept saying, so there's a specific program that I use. It just helps me with writing. I think I've talked to you about it before, but my license had expired. And so I thought, oh, I need to buy a new license. And I just kept putting it off. And in my mind, it was like, well, I'm going to, I got to start that writing project. But I'll get to it. I've got to, once I have that license, then I'll be able to start it. So I did that for a while. I got the license, by the way. So I'm on there, but yeah, and that just happened recently. So again, I think it goes back to this idea that, summer, kind of getting things going, kind of that check-in. And that was what it was for me, is I had set that goal early on, is this is a project I really wanted to work on.
Mm-hmm.
But I had just held on. So having that kind of mid-year check-in made me just get the license and start. So I'm working on that. And so
yeah.
I'm
proud of you for getting that license. I like it. Yeah. Get a move on it.
Yes.
I think the mid-year, or even like the fall, because now we're certainly in the fall. But that check-in is so it can be so important for us, because number one, people have just been saying left and right, the whole year has flown by. But number two, you're like, okay, let me have the ability to recommit. Let me figure out how to simplify. Like you said, you had this ambition. And so now you've made a deal with yourself. You're like, let me just do it. Let me get the freaking license. Okay, let's do it. And so then you know you can approach yourself again and say, okay, back in whenever I made this commitment, or I had this big idea
Yeah.
and I thought I would figure it out by now. Or I thought things would magically fall into place. I thought I would just have that weekend alone where I could knock out that project. And here we
Yeah.
are, haven't had that weekend alone, and there's no plans to get that weekend alone, whatever it is. So we can just be really honest with ourselves and say,
Yeah.
has this happened? Has it not happened? Okay, if it hasn't happened, what can I do right now to get this on the books, to get this going? And so sometimes that new energy, if we don't have that already in place with just how our life is, someone without kids, somebody who may not have spent the whole summer traveling and doing these activities and stuff, it's been maybe business as usual for them. And so they really have to bring that in. They have to create it for themselves if they want to have this newness, because it's not inherent to maybe the schedule of their life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think kind of the takeaway is, wherever you are in your career, whether you're starting something new or you're kind of been at it for 13 plus years, use this as an opportunity to kind of bring back that excitement that you felt when you were going back to junior high or whenever.
Yeah.
And just, when you think about kind of the attitude that you brought then, the excitement, kind of the commitment to really, start off, on the right foot, do that, evaluate where you are now, and then take that excitement and bring it forth in your work today.
Yes.
So that is our takeaway,
That's
guess,
our takeaway
for new
episode
beginnings.
20.
Episode 20.
Maybe
All
this
right.
should have been, this should be like season 2, episode 1 with new beginnings.
New beginnings. I didn't think of that. Okay.
Oh,
We'll have to start season 2 with something
new. Something new. We'll just continue on. We'll just talk about, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
If you have any topics you'd like us to talk about,
let us know.
I'm talking to you, not Michelle. Yeah, let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
See you
All
later.
right.